Hello guys, today we're going to talk about chapter 1 of the book, The Human Body in the Morning Mind. And this chapter is talking about the human body in the early morning, how we can understand the different aspects of the human clock that we have, the internal clock, and how can we understand that our body is intelligent and it follows this internal clock that is often called the circadian rhythms. And this internal clock dictates the different functions of the cells, the human cells, such as the energy use, the repairing, the self-replication, and the main body organs also follow this internal clock. And this has an impact in our sense of well-being and in our performance. What we can understand about the function of this body clock will help us to enhance our life experience and our performance. So there are different processes, let's say major processes during our waking time, our eating time, the sleeping time, and these functions are regulated by the circadian rhythm. Also, the immune system and the functions of the major body organs are regulated by the circadian rhythm. Our body is in general sensitive to light, the odors, and the temperature, and this has also some impact in the circadian rhythms. The circadian rhythm can be disturbed by different influences, and this usually can have some health problems. So in general, what we want is to increase our awareness of how these rhythms work, so we can work in harmony with the body and take advantage of this new knowledge to plan activities and take advantage of the rhythms in our advantage. So what we can see here now is this table that tells us what are the different major organs and what is their peak performance time of the day. During this time, each organ is at the highest level of energy, or can also be understood as if it is being repaired. So, for example, if we take the example of the stomach, it is repaired between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. in the morning. And the opposite side of the table, where we see the pericardium, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. will be the opposite side of the energy level for the stomach. So when the pericardium is at its highest, the stomach is at its lowest, and that's how we can try to schedule the different activities that we have, so it will be more favorable, more positive for our experience. In the previous table, we saw that they mentioned what is called as the triple burner. The triple burner is like Eastern philosophy concept, and this is a complex communication and synchronization of the 5 major organs of the system, such as the heart, the kidney, the liver, the lungs, and the spleen. So what we want to know is how to control the rhythms, and we need to understand how the rhythms are having some influence, both from inside our body and from the environment. Usually there are some internal factors, such as the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is the main character here in the internal control of the circadian rhythm. And each of us has a unique circadian rhythm, and this is genetic. Previously, it was thought that everyone had the same, but now it is known that everyone has its own unique circadian rhythm. There are some external influences as well that we can make note, such as the light. The light is probably one of the most important, but it's not the only one, as we saw before. For example, the release of the melatonin hormone is done by the pineal gland, and usually occurs around the night, starting from around 9 p.m. in the night. And also the release of the cortisol hormone is regulated by the hypothalamus. What is important to note here is that the melatonin usually needs darkness, and we in this era, we have the least amount of darkness probably of all the history of mankind. We have lights everywhere, even if it is the alarm clock or a small night light or the use of our telephones or TVs or screens. All these source of light will produce some alteration of the release of the melatonin. So now we have seen this chronic condition where a lot of people don't sleep well, don't sleep enough. And this is, the important thing about the melatonin that a lot of people don't know is that it's also related to the reproductive cycle. So the sexuality, it is also affected by the lack of proper levels of melatonin. So what we want to know is when it is the best time to perform the major activities of our life, such as sleeping, eating, or exercising. It could be ideal if we could schedule these activities around the best times according to the circadian rhythms in order to improve our health and our productivity. So what we can see here now is the optimum waking and sleeping times according to age. And it is interesting to know that people in their teens and their 20s, we can see that the optimum sleeping times is around midnight or even 1 a.m. And they tend to have the optimum waking time late in the day, so it's around 10 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. And there was a study by the Dr. Paul Kelly from the Oxford University in relation to specifically students. So students in this era is when they're in university or even in high school, and usually they start school very early in the day, and it is not the most optimum time for having a good performance in their studies, so because they didn't sleep enough, and we have seen this problem. So he was conducting an experiment, and he tried to alter the time when the classes started, and he saw an increase in the performance in the marks of these students that were part of the study. So what we can see is that when we don't sleep enough, we have some elevation in the levels of cortisol, and cortisol is known as the stress hormone, and this produces reduced levels in the efficiency of the communication with the neurotransmitters in the brain, which will lead to a decreased concentration and increasing our what we could call the moodiness, not the best way to feel during the day. So what we can see now here in this table is what it is suggested as the optimum times for eating. According to the different groups of age, we can see that usually the optimum eating time for people in their 20s and teenagers is past 9:30 in the night, and people as they grow older tend to have the optimum time earlier in the day. When we go to the 60s and further, is around 6:30 in the night. So this is what we can see about the eating time, and it is probably not so difficult to do. We just need to have more information about this, and this is what this book is designed to tell us, to collect all this information in a single place so we can take advantage and try to schedule these activities for our profit. Now, what relates to physical activity, which is exercising, well, a lot of people are, interested in doing more exercise to increase their fitness level or just to improve their health. And there is an optimum time to do this, and usually in the afternoon or in the evening. So it's definitively not in the morning. And why is this? Is because the body temperature is at the highest level during the afternoon or early in the evening. So this will allow us, our muscles, to have the most proper condition to exercise, and also the testosterone levels are at the highest, and the cortisol is at its lowest. And especially this combination of the low cortisol and high testosterone allow us to have a optimum physical performance and to recover from the exercise easier than if we do it at any other time. So what we can see here is, according to the different age groups, what are the optimum physical times for activity. So people in their teens is around 6:30 in the night or in the evening, and people in their 20s 5:30, and it goes down to the table until we reach the people in their 60s or older, which need to exercise around 2:30 p.m. or earlier. So what we can see is that there is very useful suggestions on how to change some things in our life that will have a very positive effect. And what we need to understand is, the main takeouts is how to handle the artificial light in our modern lives. Try to really shut down the telephone and not see the telephone, especially late at night or in the middle of the night, which will have some disruptive effect in our sleeping quality, and how will inhibit the release of melatonin, which has a direct relation to how well we sleep and how well we feel. And not only this, but it also has an effect on the sexuality, as we mentioned. It is also interesting to mention that they say that the ingestion of caffeine has a negative effect in the release of melatonin. And this is, very popular drink. A lot of people drink this, especially in the morning. And this is doubly bad because during the morning, especially from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., is the moment when the cortisol level is at its highest. And the body is releasing the cortisol to wake us up. So we really don't need the coffee in the morning, because all we need is the cortisol to wake up. And so by drinking cortisol, we are counteracting, and by drinking the caffeine, we are counteracting the effect of the cortisol. And not only that, but we will sleep less, with a less pleasant dream, less deep sleep. And in the next morning, we will feel tired again, so we will need to drink more coffee. It is like a self-perpetuating cycle. So that's it, guys. And if you like this video, please like the video so I can have some feedback from you. You can also put some comments in the section below if you have some questions or just any suggestions or any opinions at all. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you can see more videos as they are released. Thank you. Take care.